Hey guys, Andy here, and today we have our Pan That Palette update for August. So if you want to see if I have any new pans and what my progress is, then just stay tuned. As always, if you don't know what this project is about, it's a Pantastic Ladies collab that I'm doing with them this year, where we had to pick our oldest palette in our collection, which for me is the Huda Beauty New Nude palette. I got it when it launched, so it's 4 or 5 years old, and we have to pan it. That is the long and the short of it. So if you want to see my progress, then just stay tuned. Everything I'm wearing will be listed in the description box, as always. And if you like makeup unboxings with a little bit of horror sprinkled in, please consider subscribing, and I would love to have you here. Let's just go ahead and get into this month's update. All right, so this is what the palette's looking like. I did go ahead and depot the 2 glitter shades. I did have pan in both of them, if this is the first update you're seeing. And then in the very beginning of January, I depotted the concealer shade because, ew, I wasn't going to work on that. But we are currently looking at 6 pans, which is the same amount of pans I had last month in July. So no new pans, but I did expand the pan in this shade, and I have heavily expanded the pan in the shade Bare, because I did roll this into another project. I want to finish this shade entirely. But I actually didn't throw away these glitters. I wanted to show you what I did with them, because I think what I did is pretty cool. I took a fragrance and I decanted the glitters into a fragrance. So that is what it looks like all shaken up. And isn't that just gorgeous? So let me show you what it looks like on the skin. And then the only thing is the glitter kind of clogs up the dropper, so I end up having to just drop it on the skin. But it still smells good, it still rubs in. And then you can just, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up, but in person, I just have faintly glitter all over me. And then it's my fragrance. I figure it was better than just throwing it away. And at the end of the day, worst case scenario, it at least looks really pretty. So I don't mind having to drop the fragrance on and rub it into the skin like that. Like, that doesn't bother me. So yeah. And if you're wondering what the fragrance was, it was Bath & Body Works 1,000 Wishes, I think. Did I keep the package? No, I did not. I threw it away because I ruined it trying to get it open. But yeah, that's where the 2 glitters went, so that'll be fun when that's an empty. But no new progress, so I don't think I'm even really going to show progress photo. No, I probably will, in case this is your first time seeing this video. I will still show progress, but I do have some exciting news. I've used this shade, this Shimmer Charmed, that I've said I've had such a hard time using. One, it's in my eye look today. It's over here in the center. But I've used it. Let me get to my paper here, because I always like to tell you guys how many times I've used each shade. I had previously only used it 1 time. In the 7 months that I've been working on this, I'd only used it once. I have now used it 4 times. I know that that's still not a lot, but considering in 7 months I used it 1 time, and then in the last month I've used it 3 additional times, I'm pretty proud of that. I still don't love it. I don't love that shimmer, and then I don't love the shade Kinky, because I also have the shade Kinky out here, and this is too dark for me personally, and this one just does nothing. Here, I'll give you a swatch of these. So, like, Kinky is just a regular shimmer, but it's almost a duochrome. I didn't even notice that. But you can barely, it doesn't have a lot of shimmer on the eyes. And then this is the shade Charmed. It's very dark. And if I'm putting a shimmer on my lid, I want it to brighten my eye like the rest of my eye is. So it has a time and place. I don't love it, but I've used it 3 more times. So let's go over all my uses. So the shade Bear, I hit pan after 7 uses back in February, but I've used it an additional 10 times since then. The shade Crave I've used 8 times. Play I have used 14 times, and I hit pan on July 6th. Fantasy I have used 5 times. Love Bite, which I think is my deepest pan next, I've used 12 times. Spanked I've used 14 times. Lace I used 6 times to hit pan back in May, and then I used it an additional time just to expand the pan. Daydream here I've used 11 times. Tickle I have used 11 times. Excite I had to use twice to hit pan in April. Infatuated I had to use 4 times to hit pan in March. Kinky I've used 10 times. I took out the concealer shade. Secret I've used 11 times to hit pan back on July 4th, and I've used it 1 additional time to expand the pan. Tease I've used 12 times. Raw I have used 15 times, and that one's pretty close as well. Charmed, like I said, I've used it 4 times now. And Teddy I have used 11 times. So I'm really thinking Love Bite and Tease, these 2 purples, because I use them in conjunction, and even Spanked, because I usually dip into the 3 together to darken, which is what I used to darken my outer corner today. Those are like my next 3. I feel like if I hit pan in one, I'm going to hit pan in all 3 at the same time, because I use all 3 of them together to deepen my outer corner. So hopefully for September, that's my new goal, is for September to have pan, hopefully at least in one of them, but I just have that feeling that like I'm going to hit pan in all 3 of them at roughly the same time. I really think I'll be able to finish this by the end of the year, because I do not have a whole lot of product. And it's already getting to the point where it's hard to get product on my brush, because I use, where is it? I use a pretty big blending brush. Like, my blending brush is already the size of this pan. So it's almost to the point where I'm going to need to repress it already. So I might do that after I'm done filming here. I might repress that shade. So those are the numbers. But that's pretty steady, because January and February I had no pan. March I had 1 pan. April I had 3. May and June I had 4, and then July and August I've had 6. So like I feel like I'm making steady progress. I'm still gonna be happy with my goal on if I can hit pan in all of the mattes by the end of the year, I'll be happy. If I do hit pan in any of the shimmers, cool. I'm happy that I've used Charmed a few more times. If I can hit 10 uses on Charmed by the end of the year, I'll be happy. And haven't I already hit 10 uses on Kinky? Yeah, I've hit 10 uses on Kinky, so like literally if I don't use Kinky the rest of the year, could care less. But if I could hit 10 uses on Charmed by the end of the year, I'll be happy. Where am I at on the other ones? Daydream, I'm at 11. Fantasy, I'm at 5. So if I could get 5 more uses on Fantasy as well, because let's look at that one, because that's a slightly darker shimmer too. It's just because that one's peachier, and since I hit pan in the peachy matte, I don't reach for that one. But I need to just be better about just picking a shade from this and pulling that with other palettes that I'm using. So yeah, if I could hit 10 more uses on the 2 shimmers that I need and then hit pan in the rest of the mattes, I will feel accomplished. I know that that's not the goal for the actual pan dye palette, but I will feel accomplished. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my little slideshow up here, and you will see the progress from when I started to what the pans look like now. So I will see you guys in the next one.